Have the New York Knicks given Jalen Brunson enough to help him and the team get their first NBA championship since 1973? I will answer that question in this edition of From the Bench, a Knicks podcast. Hi, and Happy New Year to you. I am your host, Mike Spendley. I'm a former New York Knicks ballboy who sat on the bench for the last Knicks championship in 1973. I'm a voiceover artist and a sports director at a radio station. Let's get right to it. The Knicks come off a quick 3-day road trip in which they win 2 out of 3 games. And normally, you're pleased going 2 out of 3 on the road post-Christmas, especially with the team still shorthanded. Deuce McBride came back and continued his excellent shooting this season. Josh Hart is still out with a sprained ankle, and Landry Shamet is still rehabbing his shoulder. Add in further load management with Mitchell Robinson, who missed the last 2 games of the road trip, which the Knicks claim is due to the brutal schedule and some continued rest for that left ankle. So Coach Mike Brown still has some work to do to help the Knicks maintain their style of play. However, their defensive play on this trip leads to questions about whether the Knicks defense can hold up. While the Knicks won a couple of games due to some clutch shooting, their defense was not good, and it is a concern. The areas of concern defensively are the perimeter defense and the Knicks' transition defense. They gave up 125 points to the Hawks, 70 of those in the second half, and this was the only game that Robinson actually played on the trip. Agankwu on Atlanta rips the Knicks with 31 as Karl-Anthony Towns stands in the paint and watches him hit 6 3-pointers. The Knicks crushed the Hawks on the boards, but they were extremely apathetic on defense, and they allowed the Hawks to come back and go ahead after they once had a big lead. Even with some of the players still out, when the Knicks get down to it, they play hard defense. But the key is they just don't play it enough, and they don't play defense consistently. And if they're going to challenge for a ring, that has to change. Against New Orleans, after giving up 75 points in the first half, the Knicks get stingy and allowed only 50 points in the second half. But they were once again beaten on the boards 50-45. And Knicks, they were killed on the perimeter in that first half. In Game 3, against a really good San Antonio team, again without Robinson and Hart, they lose a tough one, 134-132, after giving up a late 10-point lead with Victor Wembanyama coming out in the third quarter with a knee injury. They once again get beat on the boards 48-40. They get killed in transition defense and allow Julian Champagnie to hit 11 threes, most of which were from the same exact spot on the left elbow. Wemby goes for 31 in just 24 minutes. And the other killer was De'Aaron Fox's speed in transition. Like a hot knife through butter, he destroyed the Knicks. That was the road trip in a nutshell. Also, please send us your email. Go to michaelspendley.com and leave us that email, and we will send you info about my VIP club called In the Huddle, where you'll just go down and fill out a link and leave us your email. We'll also have live broadcasts of games, some playoff games to follow, and discounted merchandise, and also some access to interviews with Knicks Hall of Fame players. That's michaelspendley.com. Leave us your email, and I will take care of the rest. Thank you. Okay. Let's get back to the question in the open. Have the Knicks given Jalen Brunson the help that he needs, specifically off the bench? You know, I think it's clear that the glaring defects that the Knicks have are both on defense. The defensive flaws, they've been clearly identified. The Knicks do not defend the high pick and roll well. They rotate slowly, and all of that produces poor closeouts. Sometimes no closeouts at all. They are still very susceptible to the three-point shot. In fact, go back and watch some tape on Champagnie. Also, their lack of transition defense can be attributed to several things. One of them is lack of athleticism, specifically from the guards, the small guards. Schemes can help with that, but when you have low energy defensively, that can come back and sting you big time. So have the Knicks given Jalen Brunson, the captain, enough to get this team to the next level? I believe they have given Brunson and Knicks fans 90% of what they need. Look, we all know they've been playing shorthanded, but I sense, and I did last year as well, that this team feels they can turn it on defensively whenever they want to. And in my opinion, after watching the NBA for 60 years, that can't happen. It has to be a mindset that you carry into every game. Yeah, they can score, and I feel they have picked up Brown's system nicely. But you know what? Part B of that system is the mindset that needs to change. As Brown said in the presser after the Spurs loss, this Knicks team has to think defense for 48 minutes, not in spurts. It's a mindset and effort. Listen, I'll break it down like this. Obviously, when Mitchell Robinson is in the game, he changes everything. He's the most unique player in the NBA and the best offensive rebounder in the entire league. This Knicks team has a game changer on defense. Most teams don't. In addition, OG Anunoby is headed for first-team all-defense. If he continues to play the way he has, there are no limits to OG's game. I also feel that the weight of the injuries and with guys out have severely hurt his energy level. The other night to San Antonio, he looked gassed. Although he played really well against the Pelicans the night before, 2 nights before, Robinson also helps OG and Bridges conserve energy on the defensive end. When those three are on the floor at the same time, they can play defense with anybody in the NBA. But the Knicks are forced to conserve Mitchell and navigate the waters of, we'll call it, ankle management. The Knicks delivered Karl Anthony Towns, to this team for scoring to take some of the load off Brunson, especially down low in the post, and some few outside shots that he hits pretty good with regularity, especially the three. However, he has to play stronger and contest way more shots in the paint while minimizing his foul trouble. He has to get better at that, and the question is, can he improve defensively? Hart's absence really showed on this trip. You see what his rebounds and leading the transition offense do for this Knicks team. Bottom line is the Knicks have a great starting team, made better by a much improved bench this season. We already mentioned Mitchell as a game changer. Jordan Clarkson has provided big lifts for this team, especially lately, when both Deuce and Shamet have been out. We also know that the team's liabilities on defense are clearly Towns and Brunson. Listen, Brunson is one of the game's most talented players offensively and is as clutch as anybody in the league. His leadership is as good as anyone I've ever seen in the NBA. However, Brunson is a poor defender, and at times, the Knicks have to substitute for him because of it. Same situation with Towns. Towns is a good defensive rebounder, but lacks the ferocity of an offensive board guy. On defense, his footwork is poor, and because of that, he gets caught up in bad situations and commits dumb fouls. Now the rest of the bench, which is so improved. One of the reasons is the balance of the bench is young and has been allowed to play. Deuce McBride has been part of the rotation now for a couple of years, and his shooting ability has really improved this season. He's part of the positives on defense for this Knicks team, especially when he is in with OG, Bridges, and Robinson. Tyler Kolek has been terrific, and his plus stats in every game show his consistency. He shot the ball well and helps offensively as a good ball handler. He plays hard on defense, but his size is a negative similar to Brunson's. Brown has played Kolek and Brunson together a lot when teams double the ball, especially in midcourt. Mo Diawara has a unique body, especially for defense, and I believe as a wing he adds some real promise there. I can assure you, Coach Brown is looking at that as well, and Diawara, well, he's not afraid to shoot the three. Every minute he gets is like money in the bank. Look, these young guys won't get a lot of playoff minutes, but Brown will not hesitate to use them, and it's one of the team's newest strong points. Kevin McCullough has shaken the injury bug, and in recent games, he has shown he can provide a spark, especially defensively. He can get out and run in transition, and has shown his shooting ability. Of all of these young guys, I think McCullough might be the one addition to see some decent playoff minutes because of his defense. High energy level and tough-minded, he's a plus rebounder as well. So I feel the Knicks have definitely given their captain enough tools to win it all. Defensive mindset has to improve, and I believe under Brown it will. I feel the one move the Knicks need to make is acquiring a bigger combo guard, wing player who can defend, a better athlete to run the floor, and bigger for those mismatches in the playoffs when a 6'2" Brunson or a 6'1" McBride is overmatched just from a height perspective. That, to me, would cap off this team. I feel Brown will help take care of that, and he has already called the team out because of their mindset on defense. Remember, they have 5 weeks until the trade deadline. And believe me when I tell you, if they have to go to war with what they have, they will. I know they can be a top-flight offense. Can they feel the defensive mindset for 48 minutes? I feel they can. But right now, that's the big question. Knicks come home and have back-to-backs with Atlanta on Friday night and the 76ers on Saturday. In fact, Philly is responsible for one of the 2 Knicks losses at MSG. Let's see how the defense improves against those 2 teams this weekend, especially how they guard Maxey and Edgecombe on Saturday night. Until then, I've enjoyed being with you, and please stay focused.